Yo, welcome to the Women's Basketball Lounge podcast. Grab a drink, grab a cigar, grab whatever your festivities are, and let's go.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey.
Hello.
Smick, how was your week?
It's been busy. It's been so busy, but busy in a good way. So I'm really glad to take some time to relax and just talk about some ball because it's been a lot of life. I was in Indiana for like 5 days and got to spend some time with some friends and some family and all that good stuff. So that was cool. I feel good. What's your 2 weeks been like?
Man, it's been crazy, but I want to say we got to come back to that Indiana moment because you're from Indiana, and I know you've probably been watching Indiana University. I need your help on picking either Utah or Indiana in my bracket, but we're going to get into that.
I was going to say, I'm from Indiana, but I went to Ball State University, who is in the NCAA tournament this year. So
but I need knowledge on all them teams, okay? We're going to get into that. And I'm sure our listeners going to need knowledge in them too, because I'm sure all they watch is, South Carolina, UConn, UCLA, and that's it. But
are we going to get into it?
But my week, I feel like I had like a perfect week going to Mexico, Playa del Carmen, like during like NCAA dead zone, where you coming back to March Madness and you're just so excited and ready and refreshed and rejuvenated for basketball. Like I took a little mental break, like right when the conference championships was ending. And now I'm back and I'm like, let's go Friday, let's go Saturday, let's go Friday night, Saturday night. So I'm rejuvenated and I'm ready.
I should play the most wonderful time of the year on this podcast because it is the best time of the year. So yeah, I can't wait till we get into some March Madness stuff.
Yeah. So we have two special guests on our show today. I'm gonna call them the Lynch sisters, Taylor and Amanda Lynch. Welcome, ladies.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us. We're glad to be here.
Ooh, look at us having two guests at the same time.
At the same damn time. Yeah.
Hey, yes. So let's get into it, ladies. So, tell me. I mean, did you, with our listeners want to know, well, who are they? All that stuff. So, tell me your background. You know what I mean? And you all can both chime in, one or the other, and just talk about your background, how you fell in love with basketball, and what brought you here.
Go ahead, big sis. I think. I'll take the stage here. So, I started playing basketball in 6th grade. Obviously, I didn't make it past high school, but my little sister wanted to do everything I did. Ended up playing basketball, and then I ended up, coaching her little dribblers, little league, and all that. So we kind of grew up a little bit playing together, and then went out into the real world, and obviously couldn't cut it past high school. But we're still very competitive, so we keep it up where we can. But, we're Dallas Wings season ticket holders. So we love to go see the games here. It's actually kind of how we reconnected, I guess you could say, after my sister moved here, after Amanda moved here. And we kind of spent some time figuring out how do we reconnect after not living together since, we were young, and we used basketball as a way to kind of reconnect, and it just spiraled from there. Women's basketball specifically. We went to a bajillion basketball games last year. We flew out to Vegas to see the Aces play the Liberty, watched Sandy Brondello get taken out by John Jones.
I forgot about that.
It was crazy. We were right there, front row. And then, we went to Unrivaled twice. We've been to Miami twice now. I I'm going to be going to the Final Four. We've been a bunch of TCU games this year just because it's local and close, and HBL is amazing. So just basketball fans, I think. I don't know what else do you want to add there, Amanda?
So I had a little different, perspective growing up. My sister used to we had a gravel driveway growing up in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. She used to maybe go to the street at the bottom and force me to do ball handling drills and all this stuff.
Wow. That made you better though.
Did.
That made you better.
But we're always very competitive. I always say my sister paved the way so I could go behind her and do things just a little bit easier and a little bit better. And so she moved out when I was probably 12 because the age difference. And then.
How much is the age difference again?
It's
4.5 years, 5 years.
Five.
Okay. Yeah, I totally get that.
I remember my sister forcing me to go and do, ball handling drills and stuff like that. But she moved out when I was, I want to say 12, so pretty young. And then after that, I kind of just like she said, we're very, very competitive. So I was like, oh, my sister was okay at basketball. I want to be at least better than her. If, never was great, but I, always that's kind of the goal. So she set that up for our lives and stuff too. I would say career wise, I probably never pass her career wise, but that's always
she
the
don't
goal,
listen.
She used to yell at me out there. I was like a kid. She's like, bend your knees,
Because you wouldn't listen.
Slap my hand and stuff. Yeah, it was crazy.
You still don't listen.
I love that because I feel like we normally hear that story with brothers and sisters. That story is my brother out in the parking lot making me do the same things and just plowing into me and making me take it. But I love that this is a sister story of that same fierceness.
Make sure you tell them. We tell them at one point about our Unrivaled competitive story.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into all that.
Don't ruin it.
There's video proof. I'm just saying.
Oh,
I had motion sickness. Okay.
Your girl still got it.
Okay.
But yeah, like she said, as far as the season tickets, we went to a lot of Dallas Wings games last year, and we started on the nosebleeds, and then I surprised her with courtside seats once to the sun because my favorite player is DeWanna Bonner. It's always been DeWanna Bonner.
Good
love
choice.
DeWanna. Love AT too, the duo, not anymore, but so I got us courtside, right behind their bench, one or two rows up behind the visitor bench. And we were late. Taylor had some stuff going on and we were late. I was like, no, we got to get there super early. And we got there and
my hair wasn't even dry yet from out of the shower.
Looking crazy. But it was ever since then, we haven't sat higher than 5 rows up because it's just, just not
it's a totally different experience.
Mm-hmm. So we don't mess around.
I want to know,
bleeds.
Taylor, who's your favorite player?
Her twin. Look at her.
I love Caitlin Clark, obviously. I don't know though. If we get Paige in Dallas, I'm gonna have to switch up. But I love me some Caitlin Clark.
Dye your hair blonde.
Mm-hmm. Get the braids, those little braids. No, I do. I love Candace Parker. I think growing up, she was the player that was everyone was looking at. We lived in Kentucky for a little while. Or I lived in Kentucky for a little while. And so she was obviously at Tennessee. It was a big deal, Duncan and stuff as a girl. So
nice.
She was great. Obviously DT, sad that she retired, but.
Who's your favorite player that's on the court right now?
Right now?
Taylor.
Yeah.
It's gotta be Caitlin, but I think Paige is going to steal the spotlight, especially coming to our city,
We'll see.
It's gotta be. I hate to say that. That's such a basic answer for the amount of basketball knowledge I have, but I can't not, I love
Caitlin
her.
is really good. So
Asia,
that's fair. That's a fair choice.
You gotta
I can't
respect
believe
Asia.
you didn't say Asia, Tay.
But
I love me some Asia.
That's actually a good point, Mick, that just popped up in my head when she said that. She said Paige may take the spotlight of Caitlin Clark because, Paige may come to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
And, that makes a good point with so many great up and coming players in NCAA right now. Caitlin Clark has a lot of fans, you know what I mean? But now that these greats are coming into the W every single year, are we going to kind of I'm not going to say lower, but like level out the Caitlin Clark fandom, and people are going to be fans of, of more people. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
the
Like
hope, right? Even with Unrivaled, I feel like watching these players and watching like the behind the scenes on the Instagram and all this, I feel like even if somebody who's never watched the W or college basketball, they go watch Unrivaled, they're fans next year. So I feel like it's not just good for the players, but it's got to be good for the fans too, because it's just different. Nobody's ever done it like that.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much more access now. You like can really feel like you know the player instead of just watching their, highlight reels or watching them on the court and their press conferences. Like you actually, they're doing TikTok dances in the locker room, and stuff. Anyway.
But they already got all the NIL players for that too, and NIL is huge. So it's just
I was going to say, NIL changes it for sure. It makes things different. But I don't know. I don't feel like I see the same buzz around Paige that we saw around Caitlin. But that could change in March Madness. I think the tournament will change that significantly.
Yeah, I think if she finally gets her ring, I think that she's going to come into the season just with the utmost confidence. She's going to go off.
I don't know though, because if we look at the season tickets, like the day before the draft versus the mock draft versus the day after, they like quadrupled in price when it said Paige was going to be coming to Dallas.
Number one pick. I'm talking
whenever
Dallas got the number one pick, you're talking about?
Yeah, like it was after the mock draft.
The draft lottery.
The
draft lottery, yeah.
It was it was insane.
Our season tickets went times 4. The ones that we bought went times 4 on the cost and sold out the same day. Like sold out that night that we found out that Dallas had number one pick, and everyone was thinking it was Paige. It was crazy.
Wow.
So I think there's a lot of hype around her.
Maybe it's DNA,
Yeah, it could just be less national at this point. Like maybe because I'm from Indiana, I probably saw a whole lot more stuff about Caitlin. So that's possible. But I'm like, I feel like I don't hear the same buzz. But I'm excited to see what happens with her going to Dallas. Like Dallas is gonna be lit this year.
They got a lot of good. They had a lot of good moves. I'm excited.
Right.
Maybe they can do a little better than last year. Just saying.
They gotta stay healthy.
Look, let's not get me started on that.
Right.
So Amanda, so you play college basketball at Murray State.
I did not play college basketball. I went to Murray State. I just
college basketball.
We gotta cut that.
I thought she said you played.
No, I just went to Murray State. I said, but they're playing in the tournament though. But no, I didn't.
That's where
My career also ended in high school, everyone. I did play intramurals in college, and we were the intramural for my dorm, Lizzo, we were the champions for Lizzo, but that's where it really ended, was intramurals in college.
So I heard y'all say that your draft tickets, and I'm getting in your business, sold for 4 times that. I'm not going to ask the amount. We don't have to get into details, but this is a show for fans of the fans. So, I mean, with you being a financial advisor, right? Like, is the women's game now becoming an asset to where people can make money off of tickets? Like a good, decent change.
It's so funny that you say that.
Tickets.
Not
That's
just
part
tickets,
of our investment portfolio, definitely.
It's crazy. So I work for a pretty large firm, and our 2025 outlook, and we're pretty well respected, like other firms usually use our research as well. And one of the biggest indicators of how the markets are going to perform and how money is going to move going into 2025 was sports, and specifically women's sports. Like the amount that it's not just basketball, but basketball is obviously the biggest for women, but all of the women's sports are just taking off. And then obviously you see, the Super Bowl ads with Nike, and you see the Caitlin Clark stuff. You see how popular all these athletes are with Unrivaled online. You see Paige Becker's taking over TikTok. Juju Watkins taking over TikTok, taking over Nike, doing ads. Caitlin Clark having banners everywhere. Like it's such a huge way to invest. But I think for sure, right now, like we were just looking the other day, and I'm scared to death I'm going to get FOMO if I don't go to the Caitlin Clark games. I'm not going to lie. But just especially Caitlin against Paige, run it back from last year's finals, or Final Four. But if we sold just our 2 tickets to the first game that Caitlin Clark comes to Dallas, we're going to make more than what our tickets were worth.
Each.
Because we're 3 rows. Yeah. Because we're 3 rows behind the visitor bench. Like, it's unreal. It's like, we could make money and go to almost every single game still. It's crazy.
That is so good to hear. I mean, it's definitely a different perspective, right? And just getting out there and going do it. And then you being an expert in your field. I mean, I'm a season ticket holder for the Wings as well. I'm right across from the Wings bench. I'm 3 rows up across from the Wings bench. But my problem is I'm too much of a damn fan to sell my ticket. I want to be at the game.
That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about.
I'm sure my Final Four tickets could go for double what I paid, right?
I was looking at those.
Being that I'm a coach.
I was looking at those same ones this morning, and they're going for 3-4 times what we paid for them.
Wow. See, but it's like, I want to go to Final Four, so it's like, I can't make my investments. I'm losing money.
Because how do you choose? It would have to be like, I can't go to the game. You know what I mean? For some reason.
You also got to consider that, like, we're not going to see these times again. Like just how long ago did we buy those tickets? Just like a month or 2 ago. Now they've already again quadrupled. Like, think about what they're going to be next year. Like, look at going courtside to a men's Final Four game. It's unreal. Think of going in the 100s to a men's Final Four game. Like, it's
sitting courtside is such an addiction. I recommend, if you can't sustain it, never do it, because like once you sit courtside, it's hard to sit anywhere else. But I totally relate to what you're saying about the inflation of the tickets, because the Aces, I go to a lot of Aces games, and I remember being able to get a quick, $100 ticket, and that's like 3 rows up.
It's like on the bench.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Quick day of the game.
2 championships later, and that same ticket is 3 times the amount. So I totally get the inflation. And in Dallas, it's going to go crazy, assuming Paige Beckers goes there, and Dallas doesn't choke.
Mick, have you been to the Dallas Wings Stadium?
I have not been there.
So it's not like the University of Texas at Arlington, like the small university basketball stadium.
Yeah, I heard it's small, yeah.
It's like a high school basketball stadium. It's insane. But they won't be, next year they're moving to downtown Dallas, so it'll be a bigger stadium.
Nice.
They're the only ones. They're the only ones that didn't move their stadium for Caitlin Clark.
What?
And they lost money.
True. I remember that. Yeah, we did not move that Caitlin Clark game.
What?
Because where are we gonna go? Well, time out, Mick. Okay, so I have friends in high places. Y'all know too. We're talking about the same person. Mick knows too, right? Like, but where was Dallas gonna go? We all 3 of us live in Dallas, right? Where were they gonna go? They weren't gonna go to SMU, right? They can't. Private institution, all that, it gets complicated, right? Mm-hmm. It's a private institution. They're not going to rent out AT&T Stadium. The stadium is too big. It's too much money. It's too much money to rent that NBA stadium. Like, even the Aces didn't rent an NBA stadium.
They're about United Airlines.
I was going to say NBA, but there is no NBA stadium here for them to rent.
But let's be honest, the rent at the Pacer Stadium versus the Dallas Maverick Stadium, AT&T, where there's so many events, concerts, all that, like the Wings was going to have to give up some coins.
But you don't think they would have gotten that back?
You're talking about American Airlines? AT&T is a football stadium, girl.
I mean, American Airlines, not AT&T.
Cut that later, too.
Yeah.
Y'all don't think they wouldn't have gotten that back? I'm just curious.
I think they would have.
I mean, we bought courtside seats for that game, and we paid a pretty penny. And the people
I know you did. It was only 10 people at the game.
No, for Caitlin Clark. Oh yeah. What does it seat? Like 7,000, maybe.
That's crazy.
But the people next to us paid almost double what we paid for our courtside seats.
Wow.
It was this dad with like a 6-year-old. I think he said he paid like $3,500 or something crazy for each of those, and they drove 10 hours down. those are the fans you got coming. They'll buy those tickets. But also, if you have a bigger stadium like that, they're not going to be $3,000. And like the cheapest ticket for that game, because we always just monitor it. Like probably was like $500 nosebleeds. Imagine if they had triple the amount of seats, you could actually afford to get in the game.
Okay, so I just had a thought. Maybe they are waiting until they have Paige and Caitlyn on the court together, and then maybe they feel like that's the move. So maybe
like
it's a calculated.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I'm trying to buy single ticket games for like when our friends come to town or like people that we know want to go to games, and every other team basically it feels like has announced their single season or single game like ticket availability, and I haven't been able to get them yet. And they said talk to us after, like my rep or whatever for our season ticket said talk to us after the draft. Like so what? Yeah, and last year we bought multiple packages of extra tickets, just like have extra tickets or if people were coming or
the Dallas Wings ain't playing with their money this year. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they're being very stingy because they know Paige is coming.
They're very frugal.
But at the same time, if Paige doesn't come, they're about to get fucked on all that,
because that's what Paige is coming. And I guarantee
high risk, high reward.
Look, this is it, people. Paige is coming, and I guarantee you they either have to match what Indiana is currently paying Caitlin Clark, match what they're paying Enrique. And does the Wings bring in enough revenue for all that? Are they in good standings? Yes, but they want to be in great standings. So they got to afford the pay.
To keep her? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To keep her.
Yeah.
So, I'm guessing.
Well, who knows what's going to happen with the new CBA?
Numbers. Yeah.
The numbers are changing next year anyway, right?
Changing. So these small entities, these small WNBA teams, they kind of got to come with it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure they're trying to be smart about their next investments and all this, that, and the other. Because the Wings, we kind of, we kind of put our foot off the gas at the end. Like there wasn't as much, seats, ass in the seats, how they say.
Butts and seats.
I remember they had like $5 Wednesdays. And they had like a whole section blocked off where nobody sat in it because there weren't enough fans. And it was for like weekday games, but we went to multiple on the weekdays where there were whole sections just blocked off where nobody was sitting in them.
This year? This
past season, yeah.
Like towards the end of they were like 4 and
because we
20 at the end. It was horrible.
Nobody want to come see us play. Enrique, Tia McCowan.
I didn't even buy one set of merch from the Dallas Wings. I was like,
okay. Listen. We got to get the positive note. We getting on these Wings hard.
They're gonna be good next year.
But it's true. I grew up in Indiana, and was a fan of the Fever back in the Tamika Catchings days. But back then, they were giving those tickets away. It was like, so to see it now is insane because back then it was like you could get like 5 WNBA tickets just because like you got 5 people who want to come, here you go. Like, so now just to see it, it's insane.
That's so awesome though.
Freaking smart.
I was gonna say it's so awesome. Honestly, like I've complained so much in the past about like trying to get tickets to different events and stuff, like knowing like the original price of this ticket, like for Unrivaled, for example, what were the price of our original tickets, Amanda? Like $40-$60?
So I was a founding fan. So I got them for $60 each. And then they went.
Nice.
Hold on, we're going to get into that.
Yeah, I want to know about
that. But the resale.
Hold on.
Taylor, let her stick to the agenda. Ma'am.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying, I think it's good. It makes me happy to see that the Caitlin Clark Games tickets are going for $1,500. Not because I could potentially make a profit off of it, but just because of how much like recognition that women's sports are finally getting.
Yeah, for sure.
That was the only point I was trying to make. Sorry, I got up on that.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We're going to get into that. So let's get into that Unrivaled. But first, I just want to take a side note, like a brain note. Imagine those old Indiana Fever fans that's been sticking around before Aaliyah Boston and had season tickets and bought season tickets before Aaliyah Boston and has held on to them same tickets.
And they probably don't even sell them.
And they're grandfathered in.
Imagine.
They're there every game cheering.
And you're grandfathered in and you have that set price. Like, imagine them people right now and how much. I just want everybody to get
I just
mad.
picture that duck that dives into that like mountain of coins, you know?
All three of them. All three of those people
coins.
who have done that. Because when I say nobody was like watching it, there's probably like three to five people that are paying. 3 to 5 people are paying $100 for season tickets in Indiana right now.
We got to call the fever and be like, hey, how many season ticket holders did you have in 2020?
Take it further back, 2012.
Oh, shit. Now you get it down to 2. All right. Well, yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into some Unrivaled. Like, I'm definitely curious. I want to know about your experience at Unrivaled. Unfortunately, Mick and I, we tried to plan it, but we failed our plan. We didn't go. But we definitely going next year, Mick. But just tell us, like, ticket purchase all the way up to the day, your experience. Just take over the show and just y'all chime in and just tell us about your Unrivaled experience.
So I like to subscribe to all the newsletters and everything when it first started, when they didn't have the teams announced yet, but they were sending the email like, new player, whatever. And they sent a link for pre-sale tickets that were only open for like an hour. And I set an alarm. It was on a weekend. I set an alarm. I woke up. I remember my boyfriend was like, get off your phone. I was like, leave me alone. Like this is serious. And so I like click on the first ticket. They're like $40 and $60. Those are the only two prices on there. You go and click and you go to checkout. It's sold. Click, sold out. Keep going. So I like scrolled all the way to the bottom. I just picked random games. It was like 2 tickets, 3 tickets, just buying as many as I could. And I ended up with 5. I was working my butt off for those 5 tickets, but I spent like $300 total on all those tickets. And so, backtrack. Yeah, I think it was like 300. Then we actually go on sale. Everybody buys them out and then they start reselling. The same tickets are $500, $700, $800 a piece. And I'm like, yeah, we got to go. Because originally I was like, if we have extra, we'll resell them. Maybe I'll make $50 a pop. But I mean, I don't even think, Fee and Stewie thought it was going to be this big. They're already talking about expanding. But yeah, I was like, worst case we go, maybe we resell for the same price. But it was insane. That's the ticket price. Take it from there, Taylor.
Well, then she said, she rubbed it in my face that she was on the wait list and I wasn't. So then, we had to argue about that for a couple of days. And then once we came down from that, I was like, well, which one are we going to? Because it was like 3 different weekends that she had tickets to. And we worked it out with work and credit card airline points and all that fun stuff. Got the tickets, got the hotel, and we went down there and we didn't really realize how far Medley was from Miami. That's my one pro tip.
It's not Miami.
They're lying on TV.
It's an hour away from Miami.
With traffic. I mean, you're going at like rush hour traffic, but it's a little tiny podunk town outside of Miami. I don't even think they have a beach there.
Oh, wow.
But I think it's because they built the facility from scratch, basically. So it was probably hard to find spots available even in Miami. Yeah, I mean, even if it was,
or the retail was going to be expensive to lease something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, and
makes sense.
I felt like it was a different vibe there. Amanda, you can kind of chime in too if you want, but like it's different than any other basketball stadium I've ever been in. College, pro, high school, whatever. Like it's very clearly like curated for the fan and for the player experience. I mean, obviously all the social media that we've seen about how they have like the support room and the training room and the daycare for the mothers, like that's insane. But they have the practice court and the regular court. It's such an intimate setting. But when you first get there, you wait in line, because we were early, we were fangirling. We were early, waiting in line, and you first get in and like you shoot a basketball and you win a t-shirt and there's like 15 different spots you can take pictures at. And, the first time that we went, they had different stuff. And then the second time we went, they had even more stuff that you could do from the fan, like in the area that's right behind Amanda that you could see.
Nice.
They had all kinds of cool, just different, you sign your wall on, what is Unrivaled, or blank is Unrivaled, you sign your name or whatever you want to put. Like, it was very interactive. I was super impressed by that. I thought that was a great experience.
So almost like the All-Star experience.
We wouldn't know about that yet.
This year will be our first one.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's kind of like that. I'm glad to hear they brought that there.
That's awesome. That's good to know. And then we get in there and they open this big old double door, and then you can go in the stadium and they have all these cool
lights. Talk about the merch first. Talk about the merch.
Oh, the merch store is crazy. It's like basically a mall of Unrivaled gear. There's like 5 different shirts from every team, hoodies, sweatshirts, jackets, t-shirts, hats, wristbands, like they had everything. They had kids stuff, everything. It was crazy how much that they had available. And everyone that you saw in there was buying something. Like there's clearly
this was before the jersey. We went before the jerseys came out too, though, and before I guess they signed whatever deal where the players can get paid on it. But we were trying to figure out like where the hell is this stadium at? Like, it's little, but we're like standing in line for merch, and then as soon as it's like 30 minutes or 45 minutes before the game starts, these giant doors just open up. And it's like this tunnel you walk through, and it shows who's playing that day, and it's got an Unrivaled logo to take pictures in front of, and you walk out and you're like on the court. And you're like,
it's so cool. Small.
It's tiny.
It's so small.
It looks super intimate on
tiny.
TV. It looks so dope.
It almost felt like unsafe for the players. I was like, should you be that close to us? Like, what if we were crazy? I don't know. Like, I could totally tackle you right now if I got me. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't know about this.
You shouldn't trust me.
Yeah. No, because literally the Lunar Owls lost their first loss before the next move, what we're going to talk about later. But the Lunar Owls lost, and Chelsea Gray, you could tell she was bummed, but she knew somebody in the stands. She walked right past us to go talk to this person that she knew in the stands. And when she came back, or not Chelsea Gray,
the piece of no,
Alicia Gray. Alicia Gray walked past us.
Yeah.
Alicia Gray was bummed that they lost. She walked past us.
I don't know. You guys don't know my sister, okay? My sister is very bold. She's like, Alicia, can we get a picture? And of course, she can't say no.
I thought it would cheer her up. Honestly, we're here to see her even if she lost.
We're like,
and she goes, yeah, but real quick. And then she smiled real big. You couldn't tell she was bummed in the picture, but she was so cool. Like, they were all so cool. We saw Angel Reese big ass walk by. She's tall as shit. I was like,
she's so tall.
She's huge. I was like, I didn't realize. I've been an Angel Reese fan. I don't care if I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. I'm also an Angel Reese fan. Who cares about the haters? But
I sat courtside for a seat between the Aces and the Sky, and Angel Reese walked past, and I was like, "Holy shit, she's tall! Like, she's so tall in real life."
She's
like,
massive.
I'm 5'7", and I was like,
"Yeah, you don't expect it."
Yeah.
Well, that's why, like, at Unrivaled, I'm telling you, like, she walked past, and I was like, "Oh shit, there's Angel Reese." I was like,
"But Heidemann snuck by us too with Bee's daughter."
Yeah,
they were all hooded up. They snuck by.
The Liberty coach, the freaking
Sandy Rondello,
the Lynx coach, everybody, like, just walking in front of us, and we're like, "Oh shit, hey!"
It was crazy. They were everywhere. Fee's husband was all over the place. I think his name's Alex. It was awesome, and we're like right there, like they're shooting hoops. Like, Skylar Diggins-Smith, I tell you what, that girl warms up, and she doesn't wear any sleeves. And if I was her, I wouldn't either. She's got some. She's ripped. Her shoulders are ripped, but like she literally warmed up the entire time both games that we were at. Like, the entire time, like, it was crazy. Both sides of the floor. The food, the drinks were amazing. The one time we sat in a box, we had a server that like served us there, but you can get up and get your own stuff too. It was, I mean, and the
boxy.
Like VIP.
The Sephora box, the VIP, which is literally just seat. You're just like, they have it boxed in, and then they have a server included. Like, I don't know.
Nice. Okay.
I don't know what it was awesome though. But it's literally, I mean, it's like, what do they hold? Like 850 people in there. Like I said, it just feels like you're not even at a high school game. Like it's smaller than a high school game. Like it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like literally the best players in the world over here balling out. Like, anyway, I've never experienced anything like it in my life. It was awesome.
Yeah. It's so unique
Gotcha.
that way. Like, what a intimate experience. Yeah.
So the second time
tell
that
us
we
about-
went,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, the second time we went, I don't know, the stars like aligned for this freaking. So we're outside, and you guys know how they give out those tickets with the player's name on it, and it's like if they hit the winning shot, you get
Gradient.
like signed merch. Yeah, like the gradient
Yeah.
ticket.
Mhm.
Like they walk up to Taylor and they're like, "You know what this is?" And she's like, "Yes." And like, so she had Aaliyah Boston or Aaliyah Edwards.
Aaliyah
She had
Edwards.
Aaliyah Edwards
Because I had a miss. I think they go off
Yeah.
with your shirt. This is a pro tip. Wear a shirt that's the team that you want, and you're more likely to
the
get
team
that
that's
gradient
playing,
ticket.
The team that's playing.
Mm.
But I wore a
But,
Miss
yeah.
hoodie, and they walked up to me and she said, "I really like your sweatshirt. Can I give you this?" And I said, "Sure, you can give me whatever you want. Heck yeah, I'm here to get free stuff for sure." And she hands me the gradient ticket. And I was like, "Is this what I think it is?" And she goes, "I can't tell you what this is. All I can tell you is don't lose it and pray." And I looked at my sister and she's shooting hoops, trying to hit in the highest basket, because that's like the first game that you play when you walk in. And I was like, Amanda, look. And she was like, "Leave me alone. I'm trying to like ball out." And I was like, "No, but you don't."
smile for the picture.
And then
She's
she
like,
was like, "Oh, yeah." Anyway, that was great. That was awesome. Yeah, that was a great trip.
unfortunately, you know, Aaliyah Edwards did not hit the game winner, but it was still cool. Then they come over and they see her in the Mist gear and they're like, "Can we put you on the Mist Instagram?" And we're like, "Fuck yeah, you can."
Forgot about
And we're
that.
like, "Woo, woo, woo," you know, and they're
Oh,
like,
nice.
so we made it on the Unrivaled Instagram, all kinds of stuff. And then, you know, we're sitting in the Sephora box. We're just up there chilling, and they come up and they're like, "Hey, like, you know, did you guys win any stuff last night?" And we're like, "No, we got a gradient ticket." They're like, "Perfect. Like, what are you guys doing at halftime?" They're like, "We want you to be the halftime competition."
Well, no, they started off by saying, "Are you guys competitive?"
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Well, we're sisters, so obviously
Yeah.
what do you mean? That's my little sister. I'll beat her at anything."
I'm over there lacing up my ones. Like, let me get ready for this then. Let me quit playing. So they're like, "Yeah." They're like, "Yeah, you're the halftime competition, you know, like we'll let you know, like right like 2 minutes before halftime, we're gonna come get you." And you know, they come get us and then they walk us out to the middle of the court. I'm out there nervous as shit. My voice is shaking and stuff, you know. They're sitting there talking, like asking me questions, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, definitely."
No, I was talking shit. I did the Angel Reese, the too small, you know. I was talking mad shit. I was like, "Let's freaking
nervous. Go." I'm like, "Yeah, of course I'm gonna win."
Tell them what the competition was, though. Tell them what it was, though.
So it was like go down, shoot a layup, come down, shoot another layup, and then shoot a free throw, right? 2 layups.
Yeah,
2 layups
full
and a
court
free
layup.
throw. Yeah.
Full court it's like well, I guess not 2 line layups. A full court layup, and then once you hit your second layup, then you have to shoot a free throw.
Taylor airballed her first free throw.
Amanda airballed her first layup.
No, I didn't.
Ooh.
No, I didn't. It just didn't go in. It was not no, it hit the backboard.
Too many beers.
Ooh.
No, we went on a boat cruise earlier that day.
She forgot that the part about where I won.
I had motion sickness.
It's
I was
an
feeling
excuse.
bad.
I had a concussion, damn near. Food poisoning. I had it all.
But she beat me. She did. She beat me fair and square. It was her day, you know.
Good.
That's
I didn't want to take it away from her.
Whoop that ass.
That's funny. So let's get into, you know, the competitive side of Unrivaled. Let's talk about the semifinals and the finals. You know, as we know, Unrivaled ended yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Recorded today on Tuesday, so we know who the champion is. Rose, the team Rose, which Mick and I did not guess.
Nobody did.
Who was your guys'
Rose was my second team.
Who are your finals?
Rose
who are your
was my
2 finals
second
people?
choice.
Rose
Mine was Laces. I had Laces winning it all.
Before the whole thing started, you're talking about?
Yep. Just looking at the roster, I had Laces winning it all, and my second prediction was Rose, but I doubled down on Laces.
My dumb ass picked the Phantom.
That was my team
too. My second pick was the Lunar Owl. So I didn't end up too bad.
Yeah.
So I thought the
Yeah.
Phantom or the Owl would take it.
I
So,
still think the Laces would have, if they had stayed healthy,
Exactly.
I think
With
they
AT
would have been
and
much
Jackie
stronger.
back, yeah, it's a wrap.
And Jackie is my favorite
I
player on
mean-
the court right now.
the Rose
Jackie-
played without Angel Reese a couple times. They played without Kalia Copper a couple times. So
They played without Jackie
oh,
for the
wow,
first
without Copper.
3 games. Yeah. Then AT
AT
went
was out the
out.
whole freaking season.
Yeah.
No, AT
Like-
didn't hardly play.
I thought that the Phantom was my number one team from the jump. Okay, but then Mabry was out. And
Immediately.
then Heidelman got switched to every single team on the freaking in the league. So
Did?
That girl,
She still won
that's the
50
cheat code
grand.
right there.
Hey.
That's the cheat code right there.
It low key is. Like, I feel like she just, I mean, if I'm
Best of
a
both
coach
worlds.
in the NBA, if I'm a general manager, I'm looking like, oh wow, this person found her way on so many different teams and so many different dynamics. Yeah.
And she was effective
is she
too.
playing for
Mm-hmm.
who she playing
She was
with?
on Minnesota.
Oh, she's still on Minnesota.
You're talking about Heidemann?
Okay.
Yeah, she didn't get traded, right?
Mm-mm.
No.
I really thought it was
Minnesota,
gonna be,
Minnesota kept their whole roster as they should have.
Yeah, they're trying to run it back.
I think they'll win
As
it.
they
I think
should.
they'll win it. I'm going to call it right now. I think they're going to win. I think they're going to win next year. I'm
I don't know,
calling it.
man.
There's so many.
Let's run it back
moves.
in like 7 months, okay?
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
It's so many moves.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on all the drafts and everything. I don't know. Paige.
No, all the other teams it's too many
right now.
changes though. They're not going to. I mean, it took the Fever half the season to figure it out. The Olympic
That's
break.
okay. The second half of the season is all that matters.
Everything's changed.
I will
again.
I think people are underestimating the Las Vegas Aces. I'm just saying. I feel like people are already
That's what I
like,
was gonna say.
they ain't gonna win no
Jewel
championship. I'm like, they
and
have
Jackie
Jewel. We got Jewel
and Asia
and Chelsea Gray, who's healthy and in the best shape of her life, as she talked about on the Dwayne Wade podcast
going
recently.
off. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we still got a bunch of backup. Don't forget about Kitley. That's the
She's-
sleeper. People
yeah.
forgot we had Kitley.
That's another big old girl.
Kitley's-
What is she, 6'3"?
We got a big man. So so don't forget we got Kitley. I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting. We got some depth. We got Dana Evans. We got some folks. So I'm just saying, don't count the aces out.
I think so
I
too.
hear you.
Back to Unrivaled.
Keep us on
After
track.
that news, we went to a commercial Aces break, paid for by Big Tom.
Yeah, per usual. Gang.
Gang. Oh man. But let's talk about the semifinals and finals game. Y'all give me your take on, like, did they represent right? Like, was it competitive enough? You know, all that. Did you get out your seats for the game winning shot in the championship game? Yeah, let's talk about it. Mick, I'll let you go.
Okay, so I didn't watch it in real time. So there's that. So my reaction was a little more subdued. But I was just excited for the win for the Rose. But I didn't watch it in real time, so my excitement wasn't quite everybody else's because I got the winner before I saw the game. Yeah.
Ladies?
What's your take? Wait, what's your take, Dimitri? Before we go.
Oh, I mean, my take on it is I feel like this is changing the game. You know what I'm saying? The fact that, like, for me, you know, I kind of went into it like, you got to hit a game winner. And the championship game, semi-championship game, I mean, did wonders for Chelsea Gray.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody counted her out. These 2 games set her up for success. It skyrocketed her stock. You know, everything. I bet you the Aces is sitting pretty with their cigar, like, okay, yes, we still rocking with you. You know what I mean? Because things is a little rocky. I mean, even Mick can admit that. And she's a diehard Chelsea Gray fan. And so it just was like very great to see that in the game and see people have a comeback story within Unrivaled. I think I was more excited about the players as an individual shining on that platform than necessarily team championship, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for the
like I'm cool.
No, go ahead.
Say what? Okay. I'm cool with yes, the Rose won, but I think I'm more excited about Chelsea Gray stats as well as Angel Reese's defensive player stats, rebounding, than I am about the team win. I'm excited about them too as individuals. I was excited about Skylar Diggins and her comeback story because she kind of didn't get enough love this year. I felt being with the team she was on with the Storm and everything. And just now everybody knows that it remembers she is a dog. So I was more excited about the individual process than the team process.
That's fair, for sure.
I love that.
As a whole, seeing all these individual players, like so many, Alyssa Edwards, I mean, she had, Unrivaled was great to her this year.
Aaliyah Edwards, that 1v1?
Aaliyah Edwards, sorry. Aaliyah Edwards, yeah.
Oh man, what a sleeper.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like we got so much shine just from unexpected places. Angel Reese has been fun to watch improve over the course of Unrivaled. I think she's going to be crazy this year. But yeah, to your point, like overall, like I think like this has been great for a lot of individual players. I was going to talk about Chelsea Gray in the championship when you asked my take, but then I didn't want you to be like, you just want to talk about her because she played for the Aces. But yeah, it was definitely a moment. And Las Vegas felt it. Like Las Vegas went up, like the point guard. You saw that everywhere.
Angel was there too.
Yeah, I'm pissed about that. She couldn't have came when we were there.
Yeah. Where was she at when we were in town?
Selling shoes.
Yeah, hanging out with Bam. Hanging out with Olympians from out of town or whatever.
Right. Well, yeah. So, I mean, 1 through 10, y'all just give me a grade as a fan, being that in Unrivaled. So, and we'll wrap this up. Just being there, experiencing Unrivaled. What would you say? 1 being the lowest, 10 being the greatest of your experience as a fan at Unrivaled this year?
I'll be honest, I'm going to give it a 9 because I saw all of these, go to an Unrivaled game with me, and they were getting pictures with tons of players. And I feel like by the time we went, the players were kind of over it a little bit. You walk past and they're like, can I get a picture? And they're ignoring you. They just keep walking. And I'm so I feel like at the beginning, it probably would have been a 10, but I think we went pretty late in the season, so I don't think they were as motivated to interact with the fans and stuff like that. But overall, it was still amazing. Kind of 9 out of 10, not 10 out of 10, but very, very good. Very good time. I would go back. I mean, I think we're planning on going back next year as well. So
9 out of 10 is still a great score. That's a great rating.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think, Kay?
I don't know what I would compare it to. I haven't had any experience that's like that. So it's hard for me to give it a rating. It was amazing. I thought it was awesome. I would go back 100 times, even if Alicia Gray didn't want to get a picture with me, but
she did it though.
Yeah, she did. But Angel didn't. I didn't even try with Angel. She was on a mission, but I think I do agree with what she said. I do also feel like my one complaint, and this is going to sound probably not relevant, is that the bathrooms are outside.
That's true.
They were porta potties. They were nice porta potties. They were those ones that are in a trailer and there's it's stalls, but they were outside. So you had to leave the whole arena, go back through the gift shop, get back out to the bathrooms. And I was nervous to be able to go and get back because it moves so quick.
Yes, quick.
There's no time in between games. There's no time in between anything. And I mean, the pace of the game is phenomenal. You cannot take your eyes off it. And they're going, and you can hear what they're saying. You can hear them talking shit. You can hear them talking to the refs. You can hear what the coaches are yelling, what the other players are yelling. If you're a fan and you're talking shit, the players can hear you and they will see you and make eye contact and stuff. Be like, I know what you're talking about. That was awesome. But I felt like it was so fast paced and all that. That was perfect. Like that kept me locked in no matter what, because I'm like all over the place squirrel all the time. But just having to get up and go all the way out to the bathrooms, that's my main complaint. I know, again, that's not super relevant, but I think they're planning on like building up the facility better. But I just think that you could just tell that the facility it was round one, you know, it was like the tryouts, and they're figuring it out as they go. Let's see how it goes. So I can't give it a 10 out of 10. I love a 9 out of 10, an 8 out of 10, 9.5 even, but like that was my biggest complaint. But I mean,
it gives you somewhere to go.
It was awesome. Like it was, I've never experienced anything like it. And like Amanda said, like I'll fangirl out. Like I'm not scared to ask for a picture, tell you how your game was, you know, whatever, like, can you sign my t-shirt type thing? So she wants to complain that the players don't want to get pictures of her. It's because she wouldn't ask. But anyway.
I was the one taking the pictures for getting the good angles, you know. What's cool is too at the merch shop they sell like Sharpies at the register, which I think is cool. I forgot.
Every shop should do that. Every shop should. I don't know why they don't. Sell it for $5 a piece. People will buy it anyway.
And speaking of good business moves, like the bathrooms got to be closer, because if people are scared if they go to the bathroom they're gonna miss something, then they're not gonna drink. Like it's a trickle down effect. Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely curious as if they're going to stay in that same stadium that they built with so many investors. I think Steph Curry became a new investor towards the end of the season. They announced to Unrivaled. So, you know, just big money is invested into it now. So I'm definitely curious as what they're going to do about facilities.
We had a little with one of the operations people at Unrivaled from an event we won't talk about, but Taylor, but we know this girl who's in kind of high places in Unrivaled, and she was saying that, you know, next year they're going to kind of do the same thing, and then the next year they're planning on possibly even traveling to other cities and stuff. But I think they're staying in the location. They're just going to try to build it up a little bit. I think is the plan.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like they're trying to keep it intimate, but at the same time, like, first off, I don't even know if Unrivaled made money off of like merch. Obviously, they made money off of. But if they were selling all those tickets for $40 and $60, and then people were just reselling them, I started to think like they need to either charge more. I don't know, the ticket pricing thing. I feel like that's a whole nother conversation as far as like the resale of tickets and how like, you know, not good it is and the fees. Tickets. So like I think that's something that they could probably maximize on a little bit more, because there's only like 5 seats in there basically.
But they sold a shit ton of merchandise. The entire time there was a line.
Taylor bought half that store. I'm telling you.
Nice. Well, speaking of apparel and everything, we're going to get into, man, there's so much apparel going on and people buying so many of their college game day shirts and getting ready for March Madness and Final Four. On the women's side, the bracket is out. The bracket is out. But before we talk about, okay, you know what? Let's talk about it, and then we'll talk about Let's talk about it. Let's start off with, you know, ranking the number 1 seeds, right? UCLA got number 1 overall, right? Then South Carolina, then Texas, and then USC, University of Southern California. So those were our top 4 brackets. Let's just discuss and chime in on like what that means for each one, and how are these teams at an advantage or disadvantage with their region. So I'll let Taylor, you go first, then Mick, and then Amanda.
I mean, I think it's interesting this year, but I was listening to an interview that Gino did compared to the Lindsay Gottlieb interview. They kind of did a side-by-side in a video. And I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have to face tough teams if you want to win. I think that the path there is kind of interesting this year. It's a little different. There's the problem, I think, is like, it's really hard to justify one way or the other. There's been so many upsets. All the teams have beat each other, like all given each other losses. So like, how can you really, like, no one's undefeated. No one's a clear winner. No one's even really, like, honestly, a clear Final Four. Like it's, I don't know. I'm excited. I just know it's going to be crazy, but I do think that it's interesting to see the different perspectives. You know, one coach is, I don't want to say like like disappointed. And the other coach is like, well, you know, it is what it is. Like, we're going to have to do it regardless. But I think that it's also interesting. Like, some teams have played each other 3-4 times and some have, you know, played each other once or none. So I don't know. Yeah. I just think they've shaken it up a lot this year. Texas, though, I'm impressed with Texas, except for the 3-point shooting situation. But.
Right. Me?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I don't think seed really matters that much. I'm probably I know that's kind of an unpopular opinion, but I think too much gets put on the seed placement. Like, to some extent, it determines who you play. But if you're in the top 4, like, you should be coming out of that first, second round regardless. So I kind of think too much gets put on the seed. That said, I know a lot of people felt like South Carolina should still get that overall number 1 pick. I personally did not. I thought it went to the right team. I thought UCLA is the right team for the number 1 overall pick. But who's going to win it? It's like a toss-up at this point. Like, it's a toss-up. And in terms of the way the games are going, I think we're going to see a lot of upsets. I think we have a lot of surprises. I think, for example, I think Ole Miss will go further. I think Maryland is a little underrated. So I think we'll see some surprises in there, and I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. Amanda?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the seeding is kind of like you said. If the teams are going to make it to the second, third round, just take it on the chin and move forward. But no, I mean, it's March Madness. Anything's going to happen. I don't. We could do 100 brackets. I don't think any of us are going to win. It's going to be something in there is going to make it crazy. And we're going to be like, nobody ever saw that. Just like the 1v1 Unrivaled tournament, not to backtrack, but we did like 10 brackets on that, and we were all like out the first round with every one of them. So, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. We just got to watch.
We really don't.
I think South Carolina's up there, though.
Speaking of upset, though, can we like maybe have a little bit of a conversation about TCU? Like,
go ahead.
I'm just like, I'm so on the fence. Like, I want to root for them so bad. They have so much experience on the team. They're all transfers, just about, right? And they're local, which helps. We've seen them play a couple times this year. And I love a storyline. I love a little drama. So if they win Friday, they're playing, essentially they'll probably play Louisville, right? Which is Haley Denless old school. And if they can knock them out, then it would, ideally, if things go the way they're supposed to go, it would be TCU Notre Dame.
Which I think it will. I don't think Michigan will beat Notre Dame. At least I have Michigan there, yeah.
Well, do you think though that or that Notre Dame's coming back with a vengeance, or they're still just have not figured their shit out? I mean, they've got such a break to like get back on track because they really kind of fell off, right?
I have Notre Dame as like, if it's not UCLA taking it all, I think it'll be Notre Dame. Just my opinion. I don't know. I feel like they just got tired toward the end of the season. They've gotten some rest, but also I'm from Indiana, so there's that. And my alma mater is not going past the first round. I don't think so. Yeah.
Man, I mean, but TCU did beat Notre Dame earlier in the season, no?
Did. I think that could go either way for them.
I don't know why I want to root for TCU though. Like, I feel like on paper it doesn't necessarily make sense. But Olivia Miles has been pretty unpredictable, right? Hannah Hidalgo.
That's because you got TCU merch, Taylor. You got a TCU sweatshirt, so you got to root for them. You know, I haven't seen a Notre Dame crew neck yet.
I got a long sleeve T-shirt, but that was from football.
Oh,
yeah. Gotcha. Well, I mean, you know, you make a great point. You know what I'm saying? TCU may be a sleeper that people are asleep on, and everybody's gonna choose their one sleeper that people are asleep on.
Murray State.
Not necessarily gonna win.
You heard it here first.
Okay. You keep doing it. You keep going. You keep going.
I'm at least realistic. Like Ball State ain't going past that first round. Like, but I love that we're in. We were the number one in our conference. Like, I love that for us.
Hell yeah.
You gotta take those wins.
Well, I wanted to. I'm going to ask you all a sleeper school, but I wanted to get into when we were talking about the rankings, right? Like both of you, Amanda and Mick said, it doesn't matter, right? But then you have Don Staley, right? Who's a GOAT in coaching. Like, we should have been the number one seed. I want an explanation. You got University of South Carolina. I've never been so disrespected to be a number one seed in my life.
Southern California?
Oh, yes, USC.
Yeah.
You know, coach saying that. But then you got coaches like Notre Dame that had a great season up until the end.
And end up number 3.
She could have she could fight and argue for a number 2 spot.
No.
Right?
No.
She can't argue for a number 2 spot. She couldn't argue. That couldn't be debatable.
But I mean, number 2 spot's not as I would argue over the 1 versus anything else.
Well, I'm saying she has rights to be, she could, she could say something of like, she could have had
She could feel snubbed. She could feel snubbed.
Right. And then you got Gino, who's quiet. That's like, I'm gonna take whatever I got. You know what I'm saying? Got a mentality where the USC coach is like, we got to play them again. Like 2 years in a row, this ain't fair. Blah blah blah. All these coaches, like, I want to talk to the committee. Blah, blah blah this, blah blah that. And it's kind of like Kim Mulkey did that last year, right? With Iowa. She was like, why is Iowa? She kind of said that right after she was like, hey. Like,
that's what I was about to say. It's all about viewership too, not just about there's more to it than just how you play during the season. They're looking at the second, third round, all that, on what's going to get viewership, what's going to start a ruckus, like Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. That was more important than seeding last year. Yeah, they were trying to get viewership.
Right. So I'm like, so should coaches shut up and play? Or is it a good thing to have a voice, to have an opinion? I demand respect from my team. Like Don Staley said, if that's what it takes to be a number 1 overall seed, then we'll go fucking play Timbuktu and Tuskegee, Alcorn.
Right, an easier schedule,
and go be undefeated and go have an easier schedule. Or should coaches just shut up and just play the game and let it talk? Or are we going to watch more because of that talking? Like, is it good? Is it bad? Come on, talk to me, people.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, my opinion is that, like, when it comes to your schedule, I don't know if you should only have your schedule set up a certain way solely to just become a certain seed in the tournament. Like, you should be using that schedule to set yourself up from like an experience standpoint. Dawn is one of those more fortunate coaches that keeps players most of their career, right? Like, there's not a lot of transfers there. So she has that consistency. And if she can stack her schedule against really tough teams, like, that's going to really set her up again for success versus, a team like TCU. Like, they just kind of need to figure out how to work together, having been new, or, like the UConns of the world are the blue bloods. Like, you expect them to win. I think it just depends on, it shouldn't be so much about the seed as it should be about like the task at hand. But I also do feel like there's like a line, I think, when it comes to almost like bitching versus like being justified, because you don't want to set the wrong expectation for those players. Because these are players that, like, I was very impressionable at that age. I can't even imagine like the stuff that they're going through, like with NIL deals, with everybody in their ear. They have agent, they have all this crazy money being thrown at them, all these different types of deals. Like, so many people in their ears and opinions in their ears. And like, obviously their coach should be like the number one, opinion in their ear during this time. And you still want to make sure you're setting a good example. So I feel like Dawn is pretty well spoken. I think she does it in a respectable way. I don't know if I fully agree with the way that Lindsay Gottlieb, handled the situation, the way that she spoke on it. But I think that I don't think that we should shut up and like, especially women, like we need to be like, because we got points to make, like we're right. Like we know what the fuck we're talking about a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, and maybe if that's just a step in the right direction from that as an overall standpoint, that's good. But I just don't know. I think there's a right way to address it. But at the end of the day, I don't know. It's controversial. There's no real answer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good for the game. I think the back and forth, like I think it's all just really good for the game. Personally, I mean, I hate the phrase shut up and play, but what you do is always going to speak louder than what you say. Mm-hmm. And so I always just been the type of person that's like, I'm going to show you why you fucked up. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think overall it's all good for the game.
What do you think so far has been bad for the game?
I think a lot of the racism like that has come into the sport. I think that's been bad for the game. I think some of the way that's handled, I think specifically some of the way things are handled in a W have been bad for the game. Not to get too specific, but yeah, like I think there have been some things have been mishandled and that's been bad for the game. Yeah.
I think mishandled is a really good word. Yeah.
Well, when I saw this, I didn't take Dawn seriously. When I saw Dawn say that on the news, like, yeah, she's a serious person. But being a coach, I'm thinking like her.
Mm.
We've been in the Final Four every year now for the past 3-4 years, right? I need to motivate my kids.
Mm. Put some light a fire under.
What's an extra push to get my kids motivated to say, because negative motivation, people cheering you on, you got this, mm-hmm. versus, oh, you can't do that. Oh, show you know what I'm saying? So I feel like Dawn making it a big deal that they didn't get the number one overall.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're coming with a vengeance.
I think was a tactic to put in her players' head, because now they're going to think about that. And when they face UCLA, because I got both of them going, right, to the Final Four. Are they going to make it to the championship together? If they do, and they see UCLA, they going to remember that UCLA is the number one overall pick. So they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. They're going to have an extra defensive possession, or extra So I think Dawn is smart.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Dawn knows UCLA is going to that championship. And I think the only people she thinks that can beat UCLA is them. So that just
the problem with that is they didn't.
But
that's the problem with that. But no, I get it. She can and I definitely understand what you're saying from that coaching perspective. So you mentioned Final Four, but Amanda, I want to hear your thoughts.
I mean, we went back and forth quite a bit. I'll talk about Dawn Staley, right?
She's a big Dawn fan, as we all.
We were talking about should the coaches? What do we think about the coaches sounding off on it?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've never been a coach. I like all the perspectives though, where I'm a coach. This is what I feel, and then Taylor talking about I'm 18 to 21 years old. This is an impact on me, but I don't know, man. I think if you look at Dawn Staley, I mean, I watched South Carolina when I was in high school. It was 2015, 2016, 2017, when Dawn Staley was taking over South Carolina and just like hitting Final Fours for the first time ever and all that. So, I mean, I'm a huge Dawn Staley fan from watching them on TV when I was like a teenager. So I don't know. I feel like Dawn knows what she's doing as far as, you know, but I mean, I don't know. It's just this is just a different tournament this year. I mean, I think it's different than any other year. As far as, you know, maybe the coaches, you know, whenever you get news and it's sudden and you're not maybe prepared for it and you're just reacting off like your gut instinct, you know, you can't hate on people for that. So
for sure.
But you know, they all got you know, publicists and stuff that are telling them they're very well media
for
trained.
The interviews and for all that, but in the like locker room immediately, like you're getting the raw. It is what it is, you know. And if you're pissed off about it, just let that fuel you. But just different coaching styles.
To both of your points, like I don't think that the players probably hang on Dawn's every word. I don't think it's the same for every coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I think Dawn could pull that shit off.
Yeah.
She could pull any route that she wanted to go, she could pull off. I mean, if you watch the Juju Watkins documentary where she was trying to recruit her, like she's like family to them. Like she cares so much, and like they probably feel that versus like another coach. You know, I don't know if they're as locked in with their players, and so like I don't know if other coaches like have that same power. Their words have that much power. You know, I don't know if that's too read in, but
yeah,
no, for sure. So. Mimi, you mentioned Final Four. I want to get into some Final Four predictions real quick. I'll go first. And we could just real quick get Final Four predictions from folks. So who's in your Final Four? In my Final Four, I've got UCLA, USC, South Carolina, and Notre Dame. That's my Final Four.
Okay.
What you got?
Man, you want me to be honest? You're not gonna like my answer.
It's okay.
I'm still thinking.
Okay.
You know, as I'm sitting here today, I'm like, man, I don't see Hannah Hidalgo not showing up when she's about to enter into the draft and either be a top 5 pick or a top 10 pick. You know what I mean? I think she wants to definitely be top 5 pick. She has an opportunity to be the number 1 draft pick if she plays better than Paige. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't see her going light, which is why I don't see Texas making the Final Four, but I don't want to count Texas out because they've just been playing so well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just that whole battle. And then on top of that, you know, we can't sleep on that TCU Notre Dame matchup. You know, so will Notre Dame even make it past TCU to get to Texas? You know, but we have 2 Texas teams. So that whole region has me fucking confused. Now I do have South Carolina. And guess what? Guess who we sleep on? I'm wearing this shirt for a reason. Because I want y'all to see who's on this shirt. Who's on this shirt?
NC or Iowa?
That we have not.
Is that UConn?
NC State.
I was going to say NC State is a sleeper team.
NC State.
They were almost a spoiler last year.
And they were. They spoiled everybody's bracket and they made it to the Final Four. And guess what? They are bringing all their key players back. And we keep sleeping on NC State, and they made it to Final Four last year. So it's like, But I got UCLA, I got South Carolina, okay, and I got USC. And I just don't know who to pick out of those 3, TCU, Texas, or Notre Dame in that other region. So I'm just like, but then, you know, I can't sleep on NC State. Who region are they in? I forgot. Do we know? Do y'all know?
I just had it pulled up.
NC State.
Yeah, I just
They're either in UCLA's or USC's region. I want to say UCLA.
I think it's UCLA.
But Yeah, UCLA. I don't see them getting past UCLA, but I definitely. But yeah, I don't know what to do with that third region mix. So that's my pick.
Fair. Taylor, who you got in the
Why is
final
nobody
four?
talking about my girl Paige and Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd decided to show up and start shooting the ball? What, like, their bench is deep. They got shooters on the bench. Like, what's everybody's thoughts on UConn? Everybody forgot.
Who your top four? Is UConn in your
Yes,
top four?
I got
UConn in your
UConn
top
winning the
four?
whole thing. I think Paige is coming out like March Madness. Paige is coming out talking that shit,
Taylor,
acting out.
you're just trying to make sure she gets that number one pick so she comes to Dallas. That you're just trying to speak it into existence.
No, that big three.
That's all
That
you're
big three.
doing.
I'm telling you, Sarah Strong, AZ Fudd, Paige Beckers. If they act right throughout this tournament, I don't know. Like, I mean, like I said, they've all beat each other at this point. Like, that's what's so tough. But I think it's going to depend on who puts the game together. Like, at the end of the day, I have UConn, South Carolina, UCLA, and I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50. I'm Notre Dame and TCU.
No, in Texas.
If Texas would shoot a damn three, then maybe. But no,
I'm
it
calling
can't.
it.
You cannot. How are you going to even get to the Final Four, let alone get through the Final Four, if you shoot 2 threes a game? Maybe. Their game plan is to not shoot threes. Like, this is an evolved game. This isn't the 1950s.
They almost won the SEC championship, and the SEC is the toughest league in women's basketball without shooting a three. They beat South Carolina for the first time ever in history.
They beat South Carolina this year.
Yeah.
UConn smoked South Carolina.
A three. Yo, you know what? They came back.
They beat them almost 20. What kind of comeback is that?
Yeah, you're right. No, I'm thinking of USC.
Yeah.
They came back.
USC, yeah.
UConn.
USC though, I'm so impressed with USC, but their problem is that they just rely too much on Juju. Kiki Iriafen is not as exciting as she was supposed to be. Like, I don't know what's not clicking there, but I'm so, like, I just expected so much more. Like, if they can get on the same level, lights out too. You don't even need a big three for them. You have a big two, and that's like, anyway. I think Juju's ready for the W right now, though.
I agree with that. We need to see her.
Well, she's balling out. But
Amanda, your top four?
I think it'll be UCLA and UConn, and then South Carolina and Texas. I'm going for the Texas over Notre Dame.
Shout out to Amanda for making a choice, a bold choice.
Right.
Where's Murray State?
Murray State's still in the first round, Taylor.
I thought you had him at least.
She's your sister. Come on, chill out. But no, you do have a great point. That, I mean, we all can agree UConn's going to match up against USC. I mean, that game is going to go either way. You do make a great point with them depending so much on Juju and March Madness. Mm-hmm. They have to play constantly, recovery, this, that, and the other. Is she going to get worn out by the time she gets to regionals? Regional finals, all that, is she going to be tired? The travel, the plane, that all is a wear and tear on your body. And then you're on the West Coast, and then you're having to come to Tampa, Florida, to play in the Final Four. That's a whole different time change right there, which is another advantage for South Carolina, by the way.
And UConn.
And UConn, and not an advantage for UCLA.
Nope.
But just all that. So, I'm going to actually change my Final Four to UConn instead of USC.
She's about to edit all this out. Whenever this drops.
Okay.
No, I'm going to change it.
Okay.
No, you don't have to edit.
I'm not editing. She knows. She already know I'm not editing. It's staying in there.
We run it through. So UConn, UCLA, South Carolina, and we
flip some coins. I mean, flip all the coins. That's tough. It's so tough, but that's so tough.
I don't know.
Watch it be none of them. Watch it be none of them.
All of us are wrong.
Right.
Okay, everybody, just hot topic. We got 30 seconds for this segment. Give me your sleep team. Mine is NC State, North Carolina State. Amanda, go.
Murray State, baby, shoes up.
The fuck up.
God.
Does TCU count? Yeah, TCU. I think TCU is my next.
TCU. Mick.
Because you said NC State, which would have been my sleeper team, I'm gonna give my number 2 sleeper team, which is Maryland.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So I
extra
was
sleepy.
expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting a segue moment. Like none of y'all said LSU.
Who's
And my
sleeping on
girl
I don't think
LSU?
LSU is a
I do
sleeper.
love
We all
LSU.
sleeping on LSU.
No,
But I
because
don't think
all of my
LSU
top
got
4 are 50-50.
Here's the thing: do we even know if Flau'Jae is playing? Like she
They said
still
yes.
got on the boot.
Yes. Yeah, they said
So if she's playing,
well,
is she
Flau'Jae's
healthy?
still young. She's still young. Is she healthy even if she plays?
If she's playing, is she healthy? But
And Anissa Morrow has been a little hit or miss, no?
She was up for National Player of the Year. You know what? Okay. Y'all making me upset. Y'all making me
But
upset.
Flau'Jae is doing some very dope stuff with a partnership with Experian. For those who don't know, it's super cool. And through that partnership, they get $100K donated to a program they have to reduce debt for consumers. So for every game LSU wins, $100K gets put into that pot. Due to a partnership with Flau'Jae, and I thought that was super dope.
Just for Louisiana too, right?
They're starting with $5 million. They're reducing $5 million worth of debt for Louisiana residents. And
for Louisiana residents,
that's like an NIL deal done the right way. You want to talk about all this money and all these kids making all this money? NIL, she's like giving back.
I love that. I love that about her. And I'm like, way to use the attention that you're gonna get during March Madness to do some good in the community. I love that.
Right. I think it just brings so much more to NCAA basketball. And just like the game of basketball, like earlier, you two kind of touched me a little bit, Amanda and Taylor, on a serious note that like this game brings you two together as sisters. And honestly, it's actually bringing my sister and myself together, even though we live in separate cities. But she's calling me now like, Mimi, tell me about this team. Like, I didn't know Texas was that good this year, and I live in Austin. Like, and so it's just like giving us a conversation and something to talk about relatability and all that. So shout out to sisterhood and the game helping us women, get our sisterhood. I'm not going to say back, but increase it, increase the relationship. And stuff like what Flau'Jae is doing is just that experience and bringing that to the game is just another even level of what the game is doing for us as women, as our platforms, for the communities, for the world. Like we are literally changing the world. You know what I'm saying? And with this, student loan debt, I wish I went to LSU right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, this is such a marketable, smart move. Like, I really want to know the background of how this even came about. You know what I'm saying? The fact that NCAA women's basketball teams are actually getting paid now at every level. So I feel like that has something. Yeah, I feel like that has something to do, like just being able to take this platform of March Madness now, and they're just elevating, and they're doing something the men haven't even done. There's no man that have done what Flau'Jae is doing. So this is just, I'm in awe. So.
Dope.
Totally
Hats
agree.
off to Flau'Jae.
No, I thought you said you have talked to her. I was like, well, what did she say?
What does she have to say about all this? No, I wish. Flau'Jae, come talk to me. Let's do it. Come on the show. That said, I think we did a show, y'all. So shout out to Taylor and Amanda. Thank you for being with us today and tonight. It's been so cool talking to you guys and just having that fan perspective and just talking shit about basketball. I love it. So tell everybody where they can find y'all if y'all want people to find y'all on social media.
My Instagram is Amanda Jane Lynch. Taylor, what's yours, girl? Go ahead and get them followers, girl.
I don't even know what my Instagram is.
Get them followers, girl. We've been working on her Instagram, guys. So it's...
Yeah. She's my social media manager. It's Taylor_Lynch 33.
We got to work on that too. We got to work on that too.
So
we'll work on that. But no, you guys have been amazing. This has been super cool. I mean, this sounds a lot like the conversations me and Taylor have. Like, we usually call each other on the way home from work. Well, she's usually already home, but I'm calling her on the way home from work, and just talking shit about what we send each other on Instagram from, like the WNBA and women's sports pages. And this is kind of what our conversations look like for an hour every day, basically on the phone or when we hang out and stuff. So it's been fun hanging out and, getting to talk to other women who enjoy the sport as much as we do and hearing your guys' perspectives, because we're pretty similar, so it's cool hearing other outside perspectives and stuff like that.
Same. Like, yes, it's definitely been cool to hear some different perspectives. So thank y'all for coming through.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. My social media is Ask for Mick. I'm Ask for Mick on every platform. Mimi, what's your social media?
Coach J. Green on Instagram. Coach J. Green is my Instagram. But fans, I just want you all to know this is what it's about. A show from the fans' perspective. We loved you all, your opinions, everything. We had a great time. Please subscribe to the show and look out for us. And subscribe. Look out for us on all social media platforms, and we can't wait for March Madness, and we will see y'all soon.
Peace. Rate us 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. Bye.